So let's take a look at the units of pressure that you need to be familiar with. The first unit of pressure is known as the Pascal. The Pascal has a symbol that we use for that unit as a capital P and a lowercase a. The definition of a Pascal, it is our SI unit of pressure. So the Pascal is the SI unit of pressure. Sometimes we express pascals in kilopascals, which is just like kilograms related to grams using your metric chart. So just be aware of that. But pascals is your base unit. The second unit of pressure is the atmosphere. Now, atmospheres are abbreviated ATM. The definition of an atmosphere is the average atmospheric pressure at sea level and 0 degrees Celsius. The average atmospheric pressure at sea level and 0 degrees Celsius. The third unit of pressure is known as millimeters of mercury. Now, millimeters is a unit of measure, and if you remember back to the last lesson, I showed you the very first barometer and told you it was designed by Evangelista Torricelli. Well, his tube that he had inverted in the dish was marked off in millimeters, so we use mm for millimeters. And then mercury was the liquid that he had in the dish, so Hg is the symbol for mercury. So the unit that we use for this pressure is mmHg. Now the definition of millimeters of mercury, it's the pressure which supports a 1 millimeter, that should say column, excuse me, a 1 millimeter column of mercury in a mercury column barometer. The fourth unit of pressure is the torr. This unit is named after Torricelli. So I talked about him inventing the first barometer. So what happened was after Torricelli passed away, they wanted to honor him. And so since he was the one that invented the barometer and his unit that he coined, if you will, was millimeters of mercury, they decided to name that unit after him. So these can be used interchangeably because the torr and the millimeter of mercury kind of are interchangeable since they named that unit after him. They wanted to honor Torricelli. So the units we use for that is TORR for torr. And remember, as far as the definition, it's just kind of took the place of millimeters of mercury. But you still see both units used, so you need to know that they are equal to one another. So 1 torr equals 1 millimeter of mercury. These are very, very simple conversions to do. So here at the bottom, you see all of our conversion factors. Pressure conversions take only one step. All pressure conversions will take just one step. We will use these conversion factors to help us do these. 1 atmosphere is equal to 760 millimeters of mercury is equal to 760 torr, 101,325 pascals, and 101.325 kilopascals. Now notice again, this is Pascal, your base unit. This has kilo on it. So just like when we use kids have dropped over. So if we wanted to go from home base, which is pascals, back to kilo, 1, 2, 3 places backwards. So if we move this decimal 1, 2, 3 places backwards, that will give us 101.325, and that's what you see here. So these are the pressure equalities you need to be familiar with. So let's take a look here. There's no place in your notes with these examples, so just write them on the back side of the note sheet maybe. But all these pressure conversions take only one step. So we want to convert 30.4 atmospheres to Pascal. So of course you're going to start with your given 30.4 atmospheres, and we want to convert that to pascals. So these are all going to take just one step, class, one step. So you're going to look down here at your pressure conversion, and you're going to pick the two that are have the units that you're wanting. Atmospheres is mentioned, and pascals is mentioned. So these are the two we're going to use. Now we need atmospheres to cancel, so we're going to put that unit on bottom. We need pascals on top, so we're going to put that on top. According to the pressure equalities, 1 atmosphere, put a 1 beside atmospheres, equals 101.325 pascals. So that goes here, 101, comma, 325, 101,325. So that means that we're going to multiply, because we're going to see here, you got them side by side. So 30.4 times 101,325, and we're going to need 3 sig figs, because remember, all your conversion factors have unlimited sig figs, so don't forget that. They have unlimited sig figs. So we're going to round this to just 3 sig figs. So you're going to, it's a pretty large number. So if you round it to 3 sig figs, 308, and then you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros after it. Now, if you wanted to put that on scientific notation, 3.08 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power is going to be your answer. Either way is fine, but you need 3 sig figs. Okay, that's our first example. Make sure you're doing these along with me and that you're verifying you're getting the same answers as well. All right, here, atmospheres to millimeters of mercury. So we're going to be using this and this conversion factor. So let's start with our given, 0.986 atmospheres. We want to convert it to millimeters of mercury. So once again, we need atmospheres to divide out. So we're going to put that unit on bottom, and we need millimeters of mercury on top. So we're going to plug in our conversion factors here. 760 millimeters of mercury is equal to 1 atmosphere. This again will allow atmospheres to divide out. So 0.986 times 760, and we're going to round this one so that it has 3 sig figs again, because our conversion factors have unlimited sig figs. So we're going to round this to 749. Now, while we're doing these examples, since we've done 2 now, I'd like for you to kind of pause the video and work these next 2 out, and then resume the video and check your answers. For time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and continue on. So we have 860 millimeters of mercury, and we want to convert it to atmospheres. So we need millimeters of mercury on bottom, and we need atmospheres on top. So get your units in place first. Now look down here. We need this and this conversion factor. So we have 1 atmosphere, so 1 goes beside of atmospheres, equals 760 millimeters of mercury. Now we're dividing by millimeters of mercury here because we need that to cancel. So we have 860 divided by 760, and we're going to round this so that it has only 2 sig figs, because remember, trailing zeros don't count if there's no decimal, and there's no decimal here. So we're going to round it to 2 sig figs. You'll say 1.1 atmospheres. That's what you should get for your answer. All right, number 4, 0.891 atmospheres. We want to go to torr. Okay, hope you're getting the hang of these. These are pretty simple to do. They're all one step. We need atmospheres on bottom, and we need torr on top. So we have 760 torr, and we need atmospheres, so we have 1 beside of atmospheres. So we're multiplying here. 760 times 0.891. And that's going to give you to 3 sig figs, 677 torr. How'd y'all do on those?